Hi everyone, welcome to the Dish on Aging tip of the day. Today is Thursday, September 2nd. I'm taping a little bit after 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and then I will be posting on the YouTube video channel, The Dish on Aging. For those of you who are watching me for the first time, my name is Dr. Maureen Sweeney. I am a clinical psychologist and I practice geriatric psychology here in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. So my YouTube channel has gone through some changes in the last week. Usually Thursday afternoon would be dedicated for a live stream presentation, and my internet connection is not consistent enough for me to provide a live stream question and answer session with the audience. I did decide though that I want to give a 10-15 minute tip of the day project on Mondays and Thursdays. And I'm so glad I set this up because today is a beautiful day outside, and it is the day after Ida came through Bucks County, Philadelphia, and New York City. And so our communities are disrupted today. I was talking to you last week about how to be just mindful, aware, and as calm and supportive as you can be as the school kids and their families are transitioning back to a new school year. And here we are, had 2 days back to school and no school today because so many of the local streets are closed because of flooding from the Neshaminy Creek, and then smaller creeks or creeks that feed into Neshaminy Creek are completely flooding over the roads. So, and I received a text about 15 minutes ago, and it's going to be part of what the tip of the day is going to be today. The text was from Aqua. Aqua's the water company. And they made the request that all the Aqua customers conserve as much water as they can from this point indefinitely. I've never received a request like that from Aqua, and they said if you have any questions, go to our webpage. So I did. There are two announcements for today on the Aqua webpage. The first one is we're having a technical issue and we can't receive any of your calls. So if you're having a water emergency, and I think they gave instruction on what you're supposed to do, but basically Aqua, a technical issue with their switchboard. So Aqua, it cannot receive anybody's telephone calls for water emergencies. That was the first statement that was made today. The second statement is they're having a problem, and this makes sense, down at the water treatment plant, and something's been shut down. And they said which water treatment plant it is. It's the one in Bucks County, and so that's shut down. And this is sort of was happening in real time about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes ago. So somebody decided to send out a text from Aqua that says, no unnecessary water use, and please turn off your sprinklers. Who in the world is going to have a lawn sprinkler on today? With all of that rain that we had yesterday and with all the flooding. But at any rate, Aqua has made the request that everybody turn off their lawn sprinklers. Here's what my challenge is, and the tip of the day is going to be, my gosh, our world is changing so quick. Let's just all take a deep breath. We're going to be encountering things that are totally new to us, that we've never experienced before. And this is because of the weather, the dramatic weather we had yesterday. And I don't even know how to do a conserve water. The first thing that went through I don't know what the rules are for that. I was thinking to myself, should I put water in my bathtub in case I have to flush my toilet? Is this just going to be for the rest of the afternoon? can we anticipate that the next couple of weeks that there might be a challenge with the water supply in Bucks County? And I don't know the answers to any of these questions. I just decided, okay, I guess I can't wash my dishes from lunch, from my lunch meal. And that'll be my conservation for today until I can get through my work day and then try to find out more about this, like how serious is this water treatment plant problem, which, by the way, makes sense. Anytime there is a lot of rain or flooding, a lot of water treatment plants are sort of next to rivers or waterways or down at the shore, they're near the ocean. And so if there's any sort of flooding, then it can temporarily impact water treatment plants. So let's just hope that we're not going to have a lack of water. Now, many of us are accustomed to, oh, look, I'm getting a telephone call from Aqua Services as I'm taping, so I can't help but wonder what the message is going to be. But I'm used to, sometimes after flooding, we'll get a boil water advisory. I mean, something happened down at the water treatment plant, and before you're going to use any water for bathing or cooking or anything like that, they want you to boil the water because there might be a little bit of bacteria in the water. So that's not what the Aqua text was that I received. It was conserve water and turn off your lawn sprinkler. So I want to see what message Aqua is leaving for me now. One of the things when I was down in my basement with my dog last night when we got the tornado, the tornado warning, I knew it was there. We weren't on a tornado watch, means that you have to run to your basement. But many of you probably were, the situation I was making my dinner 6, 7 o'clock at night, and I was watching live newscast of tracking a tornado that was on the ground in New Jersey, and they said then it's going to anticipated across the Delaware River and come into Bucks County. So when I saw that, I said, I got the dog and we went down to the basement, and then I was watching videos of these huge tornadoes on the ground. It was still daylight at that point. And things that we don't see around here usually. And then got up this morning and I was looking at the flooding in the city of Philadelphia. As you all know, the city of Philadelphia is a historic city. Since the Revolutionary War, the city of Philadelphia has been there with the Delaware River, and certainly in modern times, I have never seen pictures of flooding in the roadways that, I have driven. I'm sure many of you have as well. The Vine Street Expressway with, the signs, and the water's almost up to the overhead signs. And I've driven that road before, and I'm like, that is pretty ridiculous. So not only did they get the flooding in the city of Philadelphia, but they found that their pumping system didn't work, because those of us who are used to driving occasionally or frequently or even living in Philadelphia know that there are certain roadways that are prone to flooding, and they have drainage, they have pump systems, so when there's heavy or flash flooding, they can pump or drain the water out. And so for some reason, not only did we get all that rain, but a lot of the pumping systems are not working, and the same is happening in New York City. So what this goes to is infrastructure. And I know what you're thinking, what does that have to do with geriatrics and mental health? Well, it has everything to do with mental health, because these are stresses and strains on us, and it's related also specifically to geriatrics, because I don't know, if you're 30 and trying to get to work at a business office or a bank, it's pretty much an annoyance. But when you're up in years and you have to be able to get out because you have a medical concern, you have to get medication, there's some type of urgency, then this is much more can have much more of an impact on your life. Also, if you find yourself in a situation when you have to get in one of those evacuation boats, you're going to be able to handle that better, quite honestly, if you're younger versus older. But if you got to get out, you've got to get out. What last night, and I think even the weather of this summer has taught me, is that we're in a new normal, and I think the new normal is going to be unpredictability of weather events that can impact how our day is going to go. I had a friend of mine who was driving around this morning trying to get to work, and she couldn't get to work because there were too many closed roads here in Bensalem. So she pulled her car over, and there are road bridges over the Delaware River, not the Delaware River, the Neshaminy Creek, and so she pulled her car over, and just started taking pictures of some of the waterways, because she said, I don't think I can get to work, but catching some amazing sights of floodwaters going through the wooded areas of Bensalem here. So this is going to impact us, and our day-to-day life in unpredictable ways, not just this summer, but as we move forward in our lives. And this is going to be important for us to understand. I was telling somebody this morning in my house, and I knew from the moment I bought the house, if there's flash flooding, I get like a few puddles of water in my basement. That's not a problem. The previous owners, they like what do you call it? They like, what's it called? You make it so that it's like water resistant. They kind of like, damp be gone kind of treatments on the basement. So it's not really a big deal. I have a wet dry vacuum that I just take the filter out. I go down. It takes me 10 minutes. I vacuum up the water. The water's in the vacuum. The vacuum's on wheels, so I push it across the concrete floor to the sump pump, and I pour it in. The sump pump gets rid of the water, and that's it. And I don't have a problem anymore. I come up, get ready from work, and life goes on. And today was the first day it occurred to me that I now have a threshold for when I'm going to have to move out of this house. If you're going to live in this house, you have to be able to get down the staircase and vacuum up the water maybe 2-3 times a year. And you can go up until this summer, you could go 2 or 3 years where you don't have any water in the basement at all. And this is this is one very concrete example how changing weather patterns are going to impact aging. Because I knew, like I said, so I know that about my house. So I'm in my early 50s. So I'm already setting that as a target date on when I'm going to have to move to an apartment or a 55 and older community where there are more. In an apartment or a 55 and older community, there are going to be more resources, maybe even a maintenance person living on the property. So when something like that comes up, it's somebody's job to take care of it, and I won't have to take care of it. So that's how these weather changes are going to be impacting kind of our aging society. One of the challenges that's also going to come up is some of us are going to be living in homes now, or even apartments that are not going to be very friendly. I've been doing my regular schedule today, calling people up, and the first question I say is, how have you handled this weather? And most people are like, oh, I'm up on a hill in a brick building. I felt so safe even with the tornado warnings last night. And I'm like, oh, good. Of everything we have to worry about in life, that's one less thing you have to worry about. And the opposite might be happening for other people. Years ago, I used to provide care to a senior, and she happened to be in a basement apartment, and we'd have flash flooding, and she'd have water. And she had a bad back. She didn't have the ability to clear anything up off of the floor. And of course, that weekend, she decided she had to move out. She moved in with family temporarily and then moved into senior housing. One of the benefits of senior housing, which is rent subsidized HUD housing, you have to qualify for it financially, and many people do. You always have on-site building maintenance. And so just something to think about. When you're 50s, 60s, 70s and have a bad back, being in a living arrangement like that, when we now seem to be in times where we're going to have these unpredictable weather events. And you might want somebody else, I don't know, bailing the leaves out of the drain at the end of the driveway so that the water doesn't back up and end up in the basement. These are going to, I think, become more important topics of conversation to have about where do we live at what decade in life, and why are we living where we're living. And, someone might say, well, I can't live here anymore because too many challenges are coming up with the weather. I just can't keep up with it. So that's what we need to start thinking about. My tip, and that's going to be my tip of the day today, is to start thinking about where you're living and are you well situated for the unpredictability. At the same time, I'm going to see what does. Oh yes, this is from Aqua, the message they left for me. Please suspend all non-essential water use until we notify you that we've restored our adequate water supply. Please remember to turn off automatic sprinklers if you have quit making adjustments in the other part of I don't know what the rest says. I have to listen. They left an audio message. I'm sure it's a machine leaving the message, but essentially, please suspend all non-essential water use. So, I don't know. I guess that means no showering until the morning. So hopefully in the evening news we'll learn more about it. So today's tip is also, wow, this is, got to take a deep breath. Take a walk out in that beautiful weather. We're going to have like 2 or 3 days of absolutely beautiful weather, almost like the quite literal calm after the storm. Try to enjoy this weather. I don't know about the rest of you, but I am feeling a little bit tense after I just finished making my dinner. I put it on the plate and then realized, oh, I got to get the dog and go to the basement. So I'm sitting in a lawn chair in the basement, eating my dinner and watching where's the tornado now and how close is it to my house. And I guess I can kind of laugh about it now, but I guess I wasn't laughing then, but I'm laughing about it now. But that can be tense, I expected to get through my dinner. I knew that we were in a tornado watch, but I didn't expect that it would be disrupting my evening plans so suddenly. And it was me grabbing the dog, and the dog doesn't want to put his leash on. I got to put the leash on and get him down the stairs because he doesn't want to go down the stairs. And I am sure that, and then once I got him down there, he was having so much fun playing, he didn't want to come back up again. And I'm sure this is something many of you can relate to. So that's the tip of the day. Unpredictability of our weather locally. And so I want everybody to start thinking about where you're living, why you're living there, and will this make sense in the years to come? In this decade in your life, or might there be a decade in your life where you may have to start thinking about, oh, like me, if I get to the point where I can't go down those stairs and vacuum up the puddles 2-3 times a year or more now, then that's how I know it's time to sell and go to a different residence. And that related to a lot of different things, but aging is one of those things it can be related to. All right, be safe, everyone. Be well, and conserve that water in Bucks County until I think all of us can figure out what's going on. Okay, talk to you Monday. Bye-bye. Oh, actually, no, I won't talk to you Monday. I'll talk to you next week. Monday's Labor Day. Have a nice Labor Day, and I'll see you in 1 week.